very extremely unhappy at that job. My depression and anxiety at an all-time high. Lost myself. Like, I would look at myself in the mirror and didn't even know who I was anymore. It was that bad. I cried for months straight. And what kept me there is me telling myself, you don't know what you're going to do next. Well, what if you leave the job and you're still depressed and you're still miserable? Those things kept me where I wasn't supposed to be for way too long.
Masyn Holiday, real name Darci Khan, has announced on social media that she has been let go from WWE. And she has a whole heartfelt moment on social media, on X, talking about her situation. We're going to take a look at it. So let's get to it. Welcome to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and there's lots to talk about. Today's drop is a heavy one because Masyn Holiday, and it needs to be handled the right way, to the best way we can, because today we are talking about a young woman who walked away from one of the biggest platforms in professional wrestling. And what she said on her way out, we are going to get into all of it before we even get into what she said, because it's very important to talk about her career long before WWE. Darci Khan is a 25-year-old athlete from Stockbridge, Georgia. She attended Howard University, HBCU royalty. This woman right here, HBCU royalty. She was a track star, a school record holder. And not only that, she graduated valedictorian. Valedictorian at Howard. Guys, take that in for a minute, because unfortunately, that might be the biggest rise in her career, maybe. Because in December 2023, WWE saw these credentials and they came calling for her. She was brought in through the WWE NIL program. And if anyone is not aware, WWE NIL is the Nets in Line program, which was announced back in December 2nd, 2021. It's a recruitment pipeline for elite athletes outside of the traditional wrestling. So track stars, soccer stars, gymnasts, kind of like Bianca, kind of like Tiffany Stratton. If they were using this system in their time, they will go through the NIL program. There's that. Then there's the ID program, which is how they get people from wrestling in independent circuit. She got noticed, she got signed in, and she was assigned to WWE Evolve, the company's in-house developmental brand, which I thought that was NXT, but now we're getting another tier through WWE Evolve. And through that, she became Masyn Holiday, because WWE doesn't want you to use real names. They want the name that they can hold on to for the years to come. On paper, this is a dream situation. A black woman, an HBCU graduate, a track star with athleticism that is genuinely off the charts. WWE hands her a platform and the resources to become something. But here's the issue with all this. A platform means nothing, though, if the foundation is collapsing underneath you. So, even though she was at the Performance Center, she got through Evolve, she had some matches, she was working with a tag team, I believe. She was working with Lena Diggs, who's now in NXT. She got called up, but Darci Khan did not. They were a tag team before all this. But anyway, around June 17, 2026, people started noticing something, because Masyn Holiday's social media handles were changed. Now, they went from Masyn Holiday handle to Darci Khan. No more Masyn Holiday, just Darci Khan. Fightful reported she had departed WWE on her own terms. Then she posted this video on Instagram, and she told her whole truth. And I need you to pay attention to how this goes down in her own words. So let's take a hear.
All right. The video that, hi everybody, my name is Darci Khan, formerly known as the Masyn Holiday, and I have left the WWE.
She doesn't seem upset about it. I wonder why.
Very extremely unhappy at that job.
Wow.
My depression and anxiety at an all-time high. Lost myself. Like, I would look at myself in the mirror and didn't even know who I was anymore. It was that bad. I cried for months straight.
Months?
And what kept me there?
Months of crying. Wow. Months of crying and showing up to the place.
Is me telling myself, you don't know what you're going to do next. well, what if you leave the job and you're still depressed and you're still miserable? Those things kept me where I wasn't supposed to be for way too.
Man, sounds like she lived her version of the movie Him by Jordan Peele. She was happy to be there, but then she finds out that she became a different person to become a wrestler. Damn. Okay. Let's see if it's actually true.
And literally the day that I left, it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off of my shoulders. I'm not saying the WWE is bad, not bashing nobody at WWE loving people down.
Okay.
But it's just for me and my purpose on this earth, it just wasn't aligning at all.
Fair.
Things that I desire in life,
Fair.
and the place that the WWE would take me, just they weren't in line. And also what took me so long to make this video is I felt like I had to have everything figured out before I can come on here and say how happy I am and how fulfilled I am and just how at peace I am with everything. Like God literally uprooted me from that environment and placed me where I am now. And I am so grateful. And I have been thinking about quitting for a very long time.
Okay. What do you think kept her from leaving if she knew she wasn't happy there? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. That's probably the risk you take when hiring someone through the NIL program. I feel like if they're from other sports and you're trying to convert them to wrestling, or at least professional wrestling, which is, you know, not heavy sports like maybe they're used to, it'll be more harder for them to adjust than a traditional wrestling race person.
The day I quit, I did not plan to quit at all. It was all God. I'm telling you. Before I walked in the building, I prayed to God. I wrote in my journal at 1:20 p.m.
She writes in a journal. Nice.
I said, God, I need you to guide me through this practice. I need you to give me this practice because I was on the verge of tears the whole day. I knew I didn't have the strength to make it through practice by myself because I just did not want to do that. I did not want to wrestle anymore. But it was an unbearable weight that I couldn't hold myself. So I prayed to God, I was like, God, just give me the strength to make it through this practice. Like tomorrow will be a better day. Like, I walk into practice. My coach comes up to me and she says, what's wrong, Masyn? And then, you know, when you already put a cry, yeah, it all just came out. And she's like, you want to talk about it? No, backtrack. I knew that when I was going to quit, that I was going to talk to my coach first. Okay. So in that moment, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want to talk about it. I was like, I don't want to wrestle anymore. And she was like, honestly, I could see it on your face every day. She said, when you show up, it looks like you have to be here, not that you want to be here. And she was like, in this business, like you have to love it. You have to want it. It has to be in your heart. And I've always known that it would.
That's facts. You gotta, if you want to be a wrestler, they will tell when you're not into it. And that's why they may not push you as hard as you would hope. You have to show that level of passion. You have to show that level of commitment and want and hunger. If you don't, they may not want you to be there. If you show that you want to be there, but at the same time, you're not trying your hardest, they also can tell that too. That's the difference between people being pushed and not pushed at times. I'm not saying that's always the case, but if you really want to show it, you'll show it.
In my heart, I knew that I could potentially be good. I knew that it could potentially take me places, and I know how grateful I am to be, or I was to be in that position. So I held that very near and dear to my heart. I knew that it wasn't my purpose and my calling to be the biggest WWE superstar.
She even had faith in herself to be the biggest star. So yeah, I mean, she did good for herself. It's very clear that she wasn't really into the whole business. And that's better off that she leaves, because it's just going to make her more not happy being there, and it'll probably hurt her more to the point that she will lose that level of care and wasting her time here. That bucket system won't work for her.
I woke up with that on my heart every single day. And when you're taking bumps, when you taking suplexes, when you're picking people up, like when your life is at risk every day at work, that's a really heavy burden to carry every single day, knowing that you don't want to be there.
Exactly.
You know? Or that this is not fulfilling your purpose on this earth. So talk to her. She was like, you want to go talk to Coach Bloom, which is our head coach? I said, absolutely. And I went.
Yo, Albert's a straight up good a good trainer. I mean, he really cares about his students. He is definitely taken the mantle that was lost when Dusty Rhodes left the earth, because he was probably one of the best trainers for the NXT talent at that time. Everyone loved him. Everyone showed respect for him. So Bloom is probably the next one in line to be at that level.
But I can't do it anymore. My heart is not in it, and I don't want to waste your time. I don't want coach's time.
She's being so fair, though.
Athletes' times, and most importantly, I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
You know, pouring everything into this, because it is very, very demanding. It is a lot of work. It is very taxing, and I'm going to do that. It has to be something that fulfills me. I do know that God is leading me into the path of teaching. I don't know what type of teaching. Maybe this form of teaching, maybe me sharing my testimony is helping somebody right now. And if it just helps one person, I'm forever grateful. So I'm on my path of teaching. I have a YouTube channel right now that I've been working on.
Of course.
Is Darci Khan, aka the con artist. And
wow, the con artist.
So
maybe not the best name to use for a YouTube channel nowadays, the con artist. I would change that name if I were you, girl, but okay.
You can go check that out on my YouTube channel if you want to. If not, it's not for everybody. I understand. But I'm just walking in my purpose, walking in my calling. And I thank WWE for every single thing they've done for me, for every single person in that building who's poured into me, who's helped me, who's guided me. That chapter of my life taught me so much. And it brought some important people into my life as well. Okay. And I've grown so much from that chapter. So I'm forever grateful, but I am even more grateful to be walking in my purpose now.
Okay.
Smiling. I wake up every day excited to take on the day. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what's next, but I do know that God is guiding all of my steps. He's been sprinkling little steps here and there, so that He's with me every step of the way. So I am not at all worried. I love every single person who supported me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for every single person who was involved in my WWE journey. Love you guys. All right.
A few things in here, and one of the more important quotes I want to bring up is that she said, what keeps me there is me telling myself you don't know what you're going to do next. What if you leave the job and you're still depressed and you're still miserable? Now, a few things are truthful here. You can be grateful for an opportunity, which she clearly shows, as you can see in this video. So anyone online, don't give her hate. She respects the business. She respects the hard work and dedication that it requires. But to her, it's not for her. And that's the other truth. She can be completely broken by it, which is fair. It's not a weakness in her. That is her showing that she is human. And I honestly respect that. I respect the fact that she's put this on public record, for her at least. She put it publicly that while she respects the business, she respects what all these talents go through, from the initial ground point that she was at to main event scene at WrestleMania, how that dedication requirement is done. But for her, she's not truly into it. And again, that's what happens with NIL talent. They're not always the ones that want to do it from the get-go. It's a risk shot. Now, this video had 181,000 views on her community alone. People felt this, and then it got spread through X and so forth, and it's become viral because she's telling her truth while being respectful for the business, which I truly respect on her. Now, here's where it gets really interesting when it comes to her. The day she quit, she did not plan to quit. She said it herself. She said, and I quote, "The day I quit, I did not plan to quit at all." For her, it was all God. Before I walked into the building, I prayed to God. I wrote in my journal and I said, God, I need you to guide me through this practice, because I was not on the verge of tears. I was on the verge of tears the whole day. I knew I didn't have the strength to make it through practice by myself because I just did not want to be there. I did not want to wrestle anymore. She documented it in her journal. You ever been somewhere where just walking through the door took everything you had left? That's probably many people's hate for some jobs. That sometimes the way you relieve that stress is doing something, whether it's video games, writing in your journal, reading. But then when you have to relive walking through that job's doors that you hate, yeah, that can be annoying. And that's where she was. She walked in, her coach at the performance center walked up to her and said, "What's wrong, Masyn?" And she said everything she had been holding inside. It just came out. Now, some people, maybe even like myself, sometimes we may have issues with our job, but we kind of like have silver lining that maybe some bad things are in jobs, but everything else might be great. So that's why you stay. But sometimes for some people, that little thing grows and grows and grows, and it becomes a thing. You start despising your job. Everyone works differently when it comes to work. But luckily for her, her coach told her, and this part was important, she noticed her dislike. And some people will see that if you're at your job and you dislike it. She did say, when you show up, it looks like you have to be here, which is important. Not that you want to be here. In this business, you have to love it. You have to want it. And it's true. For wrestling, it does. And Darci's response is, it wasn't in her. It wasn't in her heart. And that took a lot of guts to say out loud when it comes to this company, especially when you are standing inside a WWE company. She went to Bloom and, pretty much told her, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. And the coaches respected her for doing it. She didn't have any animosity, hatred, or anything. She's just happy that she had gratitude for it and she moved on. Now, let's make something clear. She did not scorch earth. Is not bashing WWE. She made the explicit, and I quote, I'm not saying WWE is bad. I'm not bashing anybody out there. Love them from top to bottom, but it's just not for me and my purpose on this earth. It's just her aligning. It just wasn't aligning for her. The things she desired, it wasn't it. Anyway, when leaving a place of opportunity feels like relief, honestly, that's your answer. She's now going by Darci Khan again, which is her real name, I believe. She had said she wants to teach now, to pour into people. So we'll see what she does in the future. Maybe it's art, life, whatever that next chapter looks like for her. I'm sure she will be more happy there. And the wrestling community is hopefully going to show up for her. I think a few are, because people see this. They see a young woman who had everything lined up on paper and chose herself anyway. And that is the recipient importance when it comes to that. Because let me ask you something. How many people are sitting in careers in spaces that were built for who they actually are, an athlete? And it's not because they lack talent, and it's not because they lack work ethic. It's because the environment just didn't align with who they are to their core. Darci Khan is one of the most decorated profiles WWE have brought in through the NIL pipeline. Valedictorian at Howard, track athlete, gifted, disciplined, and the environment still produced depression for her and anxiety. A person who did not recognize herself in the mirror, according to her. A whole him situation from Jordan Peele's movie. How in the world does that make sense? Well, let me tell you, at least this is where I land when it comes to this. The NIL program has produced talent. No question about that. But bringing elite athletes into professional wrestling, as I said before, is not just about skill acquisition. It is about their identity. Wrestling is not a job for most if you want to be successful in it. It is an all-consuming identity shift. You are not just learning moves. You are becoming a character. You are giving your body every single day. MJF is probably the best example of someone who does it all the time around. And when that identity does not fit at all into who you are, the cost doesn't become more of a win-loss record. The cost is on you. You lose you. When you are taking bumps, when you are taking suplexes, when you're taking when your life is at risk every day at work because one bad move can lead to an injury. That is a really heavy burden to carry, knowing you don't want to be there, which is facts from her. And credit to her coaches at the Performance Center. They did not push her to stay. They saw her, they heard her, and they let her walk out of that building with her dignity intact. That's so important for a lot of people to realize when it comes to these training centers. Not all of it is like a hardcore thing. They will respect you as long as you respect their world. Darci Khan, I see you. I hope the rest of the world does. I respect the way you went out, and whatever this next chapter takes you, I hope the best for you and everything you do. And I hope the community does as well, because it took a lot of guts for her to be respectful about leaving her situation. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the WWE NIL pipeline is built to protect the mental health of the athletes it recruits, or even anything of such? And does the company have a responsibility to address how this toll can do for athletes not used to wrestling at the developmental talent? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if the tea hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.